Woman Dare to Live is a safe community of women seeking to live a life of abundance and walk in their purpose while balancing four key areas of life: faith, family, finances, and fitness and health. Today's episode will discuss the power of rest. And ooh, I know we can all use some of that. With you and yours. All is well with me. And it's been a minute since I jumped on and said hello. And, you know, life is good, but seasons change. And my season is definitely changing, or has changed, or you know what? Just to be blunt and put it out there, seasons change. That's what they're supposed to do, and that's what they're created to do. We're never supposed to sit in one place or one spot or one time forever. God created seasons, and seasons do change. And so I've been in a place where I've just kind of really embraced the changing seasons of my life, with age, with physicality, with emotional stability. I mean, when I tell you life has just took some turns and twists, and you just really kind of have to embrace that place and in that space. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to Woman Dare to Live. My name is Walda Collins, and I'm so glad you jumped on with me tonight. Woman Dare to Live is a faith-based community for women and maybe even some men, where we just kind of share what we've gone through in life. And the purpose and premise of Woman Dare to Live is to just help you find the space, the place, your purpose for where you are in the season that you're in. But we are here to lock arms and just kind of walk life out together. And I dare you, woman, dare to live the abundant life that you've been called to live in the season, and embrace where you are in life. So hopefully, as you come in, hopefully you'll invite a friend. I really want to get this segment, not just this particular segment, but I want to get Woman Dare to Live out there, because there are so many women who are challenged with living the life and the purpose they have been called to live. So if you know women who are challenged, who are just not sure what their next steps are, if you know any woman who you need to lock arms with, hey sis, we got you. We'll help you straighten your crown. We'll help you walk the path to where it is you're trying to go. So with Woman Dare to Live, I really want to share with you tonight a space that I've been in for, I feel like I've been in it for several months. I have a women's group that I was meeting with in person and online, that, life's challenges had caused me to just really put that on pause for a moment. And not only that, I've been in full-time ministry for several years. And even if you're not in ministry, if you deal with people, whether it's on your job or whatever it is that you do in life, when you deal with people, you're pulled on and you're tugged on and you're called on a lot. If you're a leader, that same thing, you're pulled on, you're called on, you're tugged on. And if you're a mom, oh my gosh, there are so many moms, and my hat goes off to young moms who are raising multiple children. Oh my God, I my hat goes off to you. I served in the Marines for over 23 years, but I was not that young mom, if you will. I was, but I didn't have multiple children to raise. I had two sons, bless their hearts. They're adulting young men right now. But for the young moms who are raising multiple children, this space is for you as well. So hats off to you all. But tonight, and I try to keep these segments short and sweet. Tonight I want to talk to you about the power of rest. Yep. And I know, as young moms, as working women, as wives, as mothers, as significant others, I know we are challenged with finding that place of rest. But tonight I want to challenge you as I speak to you about the power of rest. Because without rest, we cannot be fully functional. Without rest, we cannot be effective or efficient in whatever season we're in our lives, whether it's motherhood, whether it's wives, whether it's in ministry, pastors, leaders, teachers. If we don't find the space of proper rest, we're not effective or efficient for anyone. So don't turn the channel. In fact, invite somebody in, like and subscribe, but invite somebody into this space tonight as I share with you my journey about the power of rest. As I mentioned earlier, that um, I've been in ministry for many years. I served in the Marines for many years. I am a go, go, go kind of person. It's hard to turn me off when I get going. And most of my life, I've been going. But right now, I am in a season of rest. And I call it forced rest because I had to force myself into this space of rest. I had been working in ministry for many, many years. I've been in leadership for many years, and I didn't know how to turn it off. But when you find yourself in a space and in a place to where you're no longer yourself, you're no longer functioning at the high capacity that you're used to functioning in, you find yourself in a place where everything is causing you to be irritable. You get irritated and frustrated about every little thing. And I had to pause because I know me. And I know the type of person I am. I know the type of leader I am. I know the type of minister I am. And when I give my all. But I was in a place where my all was not enough anymore. I could see it. I could see it in my workload. I could see it in the type of work that I was giving and presenting. It was not what I was used to. And I knew something had changed. I knew something was different, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. Why was I so irritated? Why was I so frustrated? Why does everybody seem to be getting on my nerve? And if that's you, raise a hand, raise a hand in the chat box. If that's you, if you've been in a space or in a place, or if you're there right now to where you're frustrated, you're irritable, you're not functioning at the capacity that you know you're able and capable of functioning in, just put a raised hand in the chat and say, "Yeah, Walter, that's me." And if it's just me by myself tonight, that's okay. I'm just preaching to the choir then. And that's all right too. But tonight, as I talk to you about the power of rest, and I really think that many of us can say we've been in a place where we've been exhausted, and exhaustion doesn't just happen overnight. It's over a time. It's over a season of continuous doing and doing and being, doing everything we could possibly do and being everything to everyone that we think we're supposed to be something to. Does that make sense? We're not to be everything to everyone, and we're not to do everything that we think we're supposed to do. That's not how we were formed, and that's not how we were created. There's this thing called rest. And it's not something we created, it's something our God Almighty created. On the seventh day, after He worked, on the seventh day, He rested. He gave us a prime example of what rest should look like. And in my particular case, I'm just going to call it what it was. It was called burnout. Yeah. Burnout is when you are no longer effective, efficient, and you can't perform or operate in the capacity that you're supposed to operate in. So tonight, I just want to help you unlock, undo, open up, and embrace the power of rest. And we all know that getting enough sleep, let me tell you, you can sleep all day and you can sleep all night, but that's not considered rest. That's not considered rest. Sleep is not rest, because you can get sleep and not get rest. I'm going to say that again. You can get sleep and not get rest, because even as you sleep, and I know I'm not the only one, but even as you sleep, your mind is still thinking, your mind is still turning, things are still processing in your head, even as you sleep. And there was a sleep specialist, Dr. Matthew Edlin, who he found this research that a full night's sleep by itself is not enough to keep us energized all day. Instead, we need cycles of rest. We need cycles of rest throughout the day to keep our energy and focus. So when we talk about cycles of rest, I'm in a big cycle of rest right now. Right now, if I hadn't shared with you, I'm on a 30-day leave of absence, and I'm towards the end of my 30-day leave of absence. But that's how much I had to unplug to find the rest that I needed for me. But let me tell you something about the power of rest. See, when you find yourself in a full state of rest, I'll get back to the cycles of rest in a minute, but when you find yourself in a full cycle of rest, sleep is not the main thing. Sleep is a part of rest, and sleep is is necessary for us to get rest. But and I'm going to break this up in series, so hopefully you'll come back next week. But rest requires so many other things than sleep. You got to take care of your physical. You've got to take care of your mental. You've got to take care of your emotional states of being in order to get the quality rest that you need. Did y'all hear that? You got to take care of your physical, your mental, your emotional states of being in order to get the quality of rest that you need. So it's not all about sleep. So there are different types of rest. And if you're still working full time and you can't take an unplug for a 30-day leave of absence, that's okay. And not everyone can, but I'm thankful enough that I was able to do that. Hey, just pull the plug. So sometimes you have to take cycles of rest rather than a full unplug. So what does cycles of rest look like? So cycles of rest, you may have to take 5, 10, 15 minutes at different points throughout your day rather than 30 full days. And I can't wait to share with you what my 30-day journey has looked like. And I'm going to do that next week. But this week, tonight, as we talk about different points of rest, 5, 10, 15 minutes here and there. But the thing is that when you unplug for that 5, 10, or 15 minutes, you completely unplug. Don't answer the phone. Don't get on social media. Don't look. If the kids need to cry for a few minutes, let them cry. If the boss needs to, hey, I'm on a 10-minute, 15-minute hiatus, you unplug and you take the time you need to breathe, hydrate. And if you have to get some physical walking in, walk 5 or 10 minutes. They won't miss you, I promise. And if they do, you let them, hey, I needed to unplug so I can come back and be effective and efficient for the next half of my day. But you have to totally unplug in those cycles and just sit with you. Sit with you. Incorporate some breathing exercises in your 5, 10, 15-minute unplug. In that cycle, you incorporate some breathing exercises. Breathing releases cortisol from your system. Breathing brings your heart rate down. Breathing brings your mental state back into a center of focus. You have to breathe. You have to hydrate. Two of the most important and most critical things in life that we would ever need are oxygen and H2O, air and water. Two of the most simplest but most important components that you would ever need in your life are air and water. And we take it for granted that because we're breathing, everything is good. No, claim your breaths. Unplug and take your 5, 10, or 15 minutes to claim your breathing and obtain your hydration. I tell you, the most powerful things you could ever do for yourself is breathe and drink. All right? And physical rest. If you're in a job where you're constantly moving, constantly thinking, stop. Just stop for a few minutes and unplug. Sit, place your feet flat on the ground, close your eyes, breathe. Don't even think about nothing. Sometimes I find my husband sitting on the edge of the bed, just staring at the floor. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just trying not to think. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so good. He's like, I'm just trying not to think. And I'm like, my mind is constantly running, constantly moving all of the time. And he sits on the side of the bed 2, 3 minutes and says, I'm just not thinking. And I'm like, wow, what a treat. What a moment to just say, I've unplugged, or before I start my day, or before I get into the rigors of what's going on in my life, or to stop and pause in the middle of my day. I'm going to take a few minutes to just not think. I'm just going to breathe and drink and hydrate. That is so awesome. And then there's physical rest. I talked about that. The walking, the moving, if you got to get up 10 minutes from your desk and walk around, if you have to stand, you may be in a moment where something is going on and you have to just stand. It beats sitting. But that's physical rest. When you get up, walk 5 or 10 minutes, or you stand at your desk. Hey, I got to get this document out, or I got a meeting coming up and I know that meeting is going to last for an hour or two. Let me stand while I'm working on prepping my meeting notes. Let me stand while I'm preparing to go to this next event or thing. But physical rest is important. And mental rest in your cycle of 5, 10, 15 minutes of resting, mental rest. And like I said, I just shared with you a few minutes ago, my husband just sitting on the side of the bed, like just staring at the floor. And I'm like, what's on your mind? What's heavy? What's going on? And he's like, no, I'm just not thinking for a few minutes. And I'm like, okay, I wish I knew how to do that. And maybe one day I'll learn how to do that. But that's part of the mental rest. And most jobs today require us to be so intensely focused. Jobs are relentless. I'm going to tell you, the man wants his time out of you, but you have to take control of the power of your rest. If you can't get it at the top of your day, at the end of your day, or whatever, you get it throughout your day. Physical rest, mental rest, and then spiritual rest. I'm going to tell you, I don't even know how you live, move, or have your being without spiritual rest. You got to have spiritual rest. Spiritual rest, that's where we take time to meditate, to pray, um, and even reflect. You have to take moments of spiritual rest. What are you reflecting on? And I know life is busy. When you have kids, when you have family, but you have to take time for you. Where am I going? What am I doing? What are my next steps? Guess what? You won't always be in the space of motherhood. You won't always be in the space where you're in this high intense job, but you will always have a space for what's next in your life. Are you reflecting on those things? Are you even looking back to see where you are, to know where you're going? Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. That's a whole nother topic. But are you looking back? Are you reflecting on where you've been, where you are, to see where you're going? That's part of spiritual rest. Prayer, we would think, yeah, that's automatic. But for some people, it's not. Some people just get up and automatically start their day. And by the time their day is done, they lay down, they close their eyes, they go to sleep, they wake up and do it all over again. And somewhere along the way, they're trying to fit God in. They're trying to make him a part of their day. No, prayer should be the priority of your day, and it should be the finishing point of your day. And I promise you, everything between the starting point and the finishing point, this microphone is just kind of in my way. But everything between the starting point and the finishing point, when you pray, everything in between there has to fall into place. Everything in between the beginning and the end of your day, when you pray at the end, at the beginning, sometime in the middle, and somewhere in the end, everything has to fall into place. There's no way that it cannot when you pray. So make physical rest, mental rest, and spiritual rest a part of your rest. Meditating. And I know people think, oh, meditation is these arms and these woo woo woos and la la la. No. Meditating allows you to think on the right things, the proper things, the good things, the things that maybe didn't go so well. Meditate. But when you meditate on the word of God. What is something that you prayed about? And as you meditate, sit and listen sometimes and wait to hear what God has to say. He wants to answer your prayer. And sometimes when we just meditate on his word, oh my gosh, he'll give us an answer. I'm not trying to be preachy tonight. I'm just really trying to share with you the power of rest. But you can't rest without God. You can't rest without him being a part of the process. You absolutely cannot. Make God a part of your resting state. If he's not a part of it, you're just going through motions. And without him being a part of the rest, of the resting state, is it really and truly rest? And then there's social rest. Oh my gosh. Yes, you need social rest. Let me tell you, these last 3 weeks, I know my time is almost up. My 30 days are almost up. And I'll share with you, I'll share with you what God has kind of just revealed to me in this state of rest that I'm in. But you have to have social rest. You've got to unplug from people. I have friends and I know people who are constantly just got to be here and got to be there and got to be a part of this and got to be a part of that and got to be on this call and got to be a part of this social arena. Baby, let me tell you, all of that is disruptive to your resting state. All of that. Let me tell you, when you don't unplug that phone, when you don't turn off social media, all of those dings and those bells and those whistles, oh my gosh, just have you constantly in a state of, ooh, who's that? Ooh, I got to answer that. Ooh, let me take that call. Ooh, let me get on this prayer call. Ooh, let me get on this. No, turn it off. I promise you, when you resurface, they will not have missed you. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you some truth to the matter. But when you return in a place where you can be more able to serve, where you can be more giving and you can be more receptive. But you have to unplug, you have to turn off the bells and whistles, and you have to unplug from people. You have to unplug from people. You need social rest. You need social rest. Social rest, humans are inherently, we are social creatures. We really are. By nature, we are connected to one another. But sometimes we have to disconnect from one another to connect with the one source that we truly need to hear from, and that's God. And when we completely disconnect from all the things, all the people, from all the bells and all the whistles, I promise you, God gives us clarity, a sense of awareness, and a sense of sitting with ourselves so that we can properly reflect, so that we can properly just connect with him. You have to have social rest. And I know when we are at work and we're connected with people, that's one thing. We have to work. But the moments you don't have to, and let me tell you, when I'm at work and I need to disconnect, I close my office door and I put a sign on it that says, do not disturb. So when you need to truly disconnect, and I know Work is work, and we have to be there. We have to be present. We have to be available. But you also have the right to disconnect, unplug, and sit with yourself so that when you reconnect, you're effective and efficient. So that's my word tonight to give you is the power of rest. Take moments that you need to disconnect, to unplug, to sit with you because you need physical rest, mental rest, spiritual rest, and social rest. And I hope you'll join me next week as I really kind of dive a little bit deeper. I try to keep these uh, podcasts as minimal as possible, but hopefully you'll join me next week. We'll go a little bit deeper about the power of rest. I'll share with you more of my journey of these 30 days of leave that I've been on and what God has truly done in my life because I decided and I chose to disconnect and unplug so that I can find the proper rest that I needed to be more effective and more efficient. You see, I was on the verge of burnout. Yeah, and I'll share more of that next week. But the antidote to burnout, my friends, is rest. So God bless you and just stay blessed. We'll connect again next week. It's been my pleasure to chat with you. I've missed you, and just know I love you. All right. God bless. Until next time, y'all take care.